Jake, hello, my friend. Feel like it's been forever, but really we only took 1 week off. How you been?
I've been good. I last week was just kind of a maybe like a mental reset for both of us. I was dealing with a state inspection at the apartment complex that I do maintenance at. Ended up getting a raise out of my performance, but I was just completely fucking cooked, and it's starting to get hot here too. So just needed a little bit of a week off, if you will.
Yeah, I feel you. Summertime is coming, so while we remain fans and we're watching the games, we might not always make it to a show, but still excited to be here with you. As has become tradition, I'd like to start you out with a little bit of how's your touch? You ready for what we got this week?
Let's do it.
All right. So this one's a little more contemporary. So we're technically this is game week 11 for the league. So that puts us right at that, third of the way through the season, at least the regular season, for a lot of these teams. But that having been said, what is the current top five scorers in the league?
My boy Andy Cabrera is one of them.
He is tied for third. That's one.
Cal Jennings is number one, I believe, right?
Leading the league with 9 goals, Kel Jennings. Yep.
Dude is fucking incredible. More on him later.
hmm
Number three is Darren Smith.
He's tied with Andy for
Mhm.
third with 7 goals.
It's someone from Loudon, right? Is it the Egyptian kid from Loudon?
It is Abukura with 8 goals,
There we
and
go.
then there is actually 5 players tied for fifth. So if you can guess any of them, I'll give it to you.
Amando Moreno.
Oh, Jake, you were about to get your first ever How's Your Touch. No, Marino is not one of those five. Tied for fifth on 5 goals. MD Myers from Charleston, Francisco Bonfiglio from Miami, Taylor Colhera from FC Tulsa, Jorge Hernandez, and then Justin Dillon. So that rounds out the five. But that's a lot of goals, especially from the Charleston battery. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Um, so we have 13 games to get through. So we're trying a little bit different format. It might move a little quicker, but we want it to be a little more conversational than us just telling you like you guys are watching the games, or you can check out the highlights on YouTube. So the first game, and actually I have both Birmingham and Rhode Island technically had 2 games in this game week. So we actually started on Wednesday, May 14th, with Birmingham hosting Rhode Island. And Rhode Island gets a road win here in Birmingham, 1-0. So Rhode Island beats Birmingham on the road. 14th minute goal from Maxi Rodriguez. That makes 8 points in the last 5 matches for Rhode Island. In this game, Birmingham just couldn't get things going. They seem to be really inconsistent this way, but only 7 shots, only two on target, 42%. Rhode Island, the lion's share of chances, 13 shots, 10 on target, 58% possession. To be fair, Birmingham did have to play an entire second half, a man down with a red card. And the headline coming away from this game for me is, Rhode Island getting hot. That's 4 games unbeaten for the boys from Providence. And they have a lot of home games still to play, considering they started on the road for most of their adventure this year. So, good win for Rhode Island on Wednesday to kick off what was a fun weekend. So we're from Rhode Island, or I'm sorry, from Birmingham. Where are you taking us next?
We are heading to my home state, North Carolina, where North Carolina FC welcomed Oakland Roots to town. Pretty even game, other than the score line. North Carolina won this 4-2. 50% of the ball for both clubs. 12 shots, 7 on target for North Carolina, 9 and 5 for Oakland. 333 passes to 330. So pretty on paper even game. You got goals in the 33rd minute for North Carolina. Jaden Savagna, a free kick right at the end of the first period by Mikey Maldonado. Jurgen Dahm gets another goal, 63rd minute. for Oakland. 74th minute, Luis Perez scores for North Carolina. 81st minute, Peter Wilson gets a goal back for Oakland. And to finish the game off, 90+9, Olex Anderson scores for North Carolina FC to finish it off 4-2. My storyline for this week, Oakland's whole is not greater than the sum of its parts. Oakland has some talented players. You got attackers like Wolfgang Prentice, 4 goals, 1 assist in 10 matches this season. Peter Wilson having a great season, 3 goals, 3 assists in 9 matches. You have defenders / mid Jurgen Dahm, who spent time in Liga MX as a really solid Liga MX player. He's got a goal, he's got an assist in 7 matches, playing as sort of like a wide, either as a right wing back or a right midfielder. My big point of this match is Kendall McIntosh went out after the half. He had given up 2 goals. I don't know if he got injured making that save or attempting to make the save on that free kick at the end. He dove and sort of landed kind of hard. He's been a really, really good player for them. Losing him is going to suck if that's a long-term thing. They have 1.3 goals per match, which is good for 12th in the league, but they also have 1.9 goals conceded per match, which is 23rd in the league. Despite having a goalkeeper like McIntosh, they're still allowing a lot of goals, and a lot of this is happening at home as well. 2.9 saves per match for McIntosh. He's being overworked. They're facing a lot of shots, and also 17.4 fouls per match. That's first in the league. So sloppy team defense and just not meshing together is ruining what could be a talented squad for Oakland.
Yeah, certainly. You know, the signs are there that they can do it. They got 9 points in the last 5 matches, and 9 of the 10 points they have the entire season have been the last 5 matches. So, you know, they are right there. We'll see if they get it together as we go into the heat of the summertime. All right, so from there, we're gonna head back across the country to Hartford. Hartford hosted Louisville City this week. So Louisville comes in again, the only undefeated team in the USL Championship still, and it stays that way. But probably a little disappointed. They come away with a 1-1 tie here. Hartford taking points off of Louisville at home, despite having a red card. I think that was in the 60 something minute, but then they get a goal from Edwards in the 88th minute to, steal that point. They only had 6 total shots, 1 on target at home. They did have the lion's share of possession, but didn't do anything with it. Louisville, 11 shots, only 2 on target, 46% possession. So my headline for this game was, Louisville remains undefeated, if not disinterested. That's 3 ties in the last 5. That drops them to 3rd place currently in the league. I know they have like a game, or in the Eastern Conference. I know they have a game in hand, but they are missing some of that killer instinct that really drove them last year. So they're gonna have to find some consistent scoring. I think it's the first time I can say that they are undefeated. They're still doing Louisville things, but they miss that Harris winning goal. So it'll be interesting to see how they can turn it around. They're not a panic thing, but certainly you can't be tying Hartford. So, all right. So from Hartford, where are you taking us next?
We are coming to my current hometown, El Paso, Texas. El Paso welcomed Indy 11 to town on Friday night. I was playing pickup soccer at that time. I got to watch a very, very fun first half and finish the game to see the really, really nice final score. Went back and watched this one. Fantastic from El Paso as they win 3-1. El Paso held 58% of the ball, 10 shots, 4 on target to Indy 11's 15-5. 351 passes for El Paso and 236 for Indy 11. Goals come from Amando Moreno in the 13th minute, Eric Calvillo off an Andy Cabrera assist at the 33rd minute, and Frank DeRoma off another Andy Cabrera assist in the 83rd minute. And Edward Kiza gets a goal back for Indy 11 in the 86th minute, which leads us to our segment, What Would Jimmy Do? WWJD. This isn't so much a screw up by Jamali Waite. This is just more of a if anyone has seen this goal, ball gets shot from a sort of long range and very, very crowded box and a screenshot. So I'm wondering, as a keeper, what do you do in these situations? Obviously, nowadays, like, fouls get called like crazy, goalkeepers pushing people down and stuff. How are you getting through these people, and what's your strategy for these type of shots?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I always liked to be, especially if there's a lot of players up front, like in this case there was, I think there was like all four defenders were right there along the sixth. And it's a very dangerous ball, right? It's one of those ones that comes right there and you think that's within distance, but just with the pace on the ball and the people that are there, you're probably not going to be able to get to that ball. And I know lots of keepers that tend to be more aggressive, want to come out, get a fist on it if you can. I like to be more reactionary, and I'm always looking for the second ball. So, like, especially when there's a bunch of people in front, I need to trust that my defenders are going to be where they need to be, and I'm going to be talking to make sure that there's, we got everybody in front. But also, looking for what's, after that initial ball comes in, where is it going next, and getting set for that shot. That's really what's important to me. You got to keep your feet moving, be in position, and really be ready for a quick reaction shot, because there's going to be something that comes through you're not going to be able to see clearly. But in Waite's defense, in this case, though, with the goal that they scored, there wasn't a whole lot he was going to be able to do. They played the ball in perfectly, went in deep, comes back across to his back corner. He does, goes back and forth pretty cleanly, but the ball's so perfectly placed, he doesn't have a chance on that one. So it's unfortunate for them. Luckily, it didn't cost them the game, but I think that he did everything right in this particular instance. So
Nice. So the storyline for this week, and I know people might be sick of me hearing me talk about it, but story is just El Paso Locomotive. It's the transformation. The headline is the transformation we wanted to see. Wilmer Cabrera has this club attacking and winning, especially versus rivals. This is a well-built club. I did not believe it was, as I've said a million times, I did not believe it was, but he has built what we wanted from the get-go after Mark Lowry left. There was a long-term period of Norwegians and Scandinavians signing with us, and we have a USL experienced CONCACAF and CONMEBOL based roster. Really, really good players, really hard players that are willing to play the way that he wants them to play. We have 19 goals for. That's tied for second in the league. We only had 27 goals last season, so 8 away from what we were last season. We have 1.9 goals per match, which is second in the league. The only cause for concern is we only have 1 clean sheet. That makes me a little bit nervous, but I mean, if you're scoring 3 goals a game, I guess you can allow 1 in. We have 4.5 shots on target per match, which is awesome compared to the last few seasons. We used to have this guy named Denis Kostesian from Ukraine. He would send that ball into the upper deck every chance he got. It was like the most Leroy Jenkins-ass player I've ever seen in my life. I hated that guy. We are first with 8.9 interceptions per match. A lot of that is Eric Calvillo and Frank DeRoma make a fucking fantastic pivot in the midfield. They're just lapping up everything. If a ball comes into that area, they're getting it. And both of those dudes are minute, very small dudes, very fast, very good defenders. Something weird that I saw when I was collecting stats for this as well, we have 12-point fouls per match, which is low, I believe. I think that's like 12th in the league, maybe. But we have 12.4 fouls per match. We have 27 yellow cards compared to Miami, who has 30 yellow cards with 16.6 fouls per match. So maybe they just don't like us or something. But yeah, that finishes it up. I will try to hold off from doing an El Paso headline next week, just so no one can accuse me of being biased.
Hey, listen, when you're good, there's no shame in in doing so. The shame becomes the fact that El Paso is still only in fourth place in the West, but here they
Yeah.
are, still at the top of Jake's power rankings week after week. I digress. All right, so from El Paso to another sunny and hot place, we're heading down to Miami. See football. Stadium at Florida International. So Miami hosting Loudon. Miami makes it 3 wins from 4. They move into the playoff spots with a 2-1 win over Loudon here. Miami 9 shots on target. I'm sorry, 9 shots, 5 on target. Only 39% possession. Loudon six total shots, 3 on target. 61% possession. I think the trend I'm starting to see with Miami is they don't care about having the ball, but they are very deliberate about how they like to counterattack. And when they do have the opportunity to go, they go well. And you see that again in this game. They have the right recipe. Like I think that's some teams want to be like try to be, modern Man City, modern Barcelona. I think Miami very much knows exactly what they are, and they're getting pretty good at it. So the headline from this is South Florida statement. Miami really looks like they're getting it together. That's like I mentioned, that's 3 wins from 4, but 4 games total undefeated, all against teams in the Eastern Conference that are in playoff positions. So they are, playing well like right now, and if they're able to continue that, like there's no reason why in this Eastern Conference they can't be one of the playoff teams this year. So interesting to follow for Loudon. They're not the first team to suffer to Miami in the last couple weeks. However, that is 2 losses in the last 3 games. They have in the past been streaky. But I think that there's still enough talent with this team, with Velo and Abukura, that I think they're still going to be fine. So both these teams look like playoff teams to me.
Looking better than Inter Miami, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe Messi wants to actually play in Miami and he'll join Miami FC.
All right, so we are heading to Orange County, California. Orange County Soccer Club welcomed New Mexico United to town and promptly lost 3-0. 45% of the ball for Orange County, 11 shots, 5 on target, 14-7 for New Mexico. 250 passes compared to New Mexico's 348. You got goals in the 28th minute. Talon Maples got 2 penalties, scored 2 penalties, 28th minute and 54th minute. As you'll see in my power rankings, I put, if they weren't a hated rival, I would absolutely praise them letting a center back take all their penalty shots. That's fucking awesome. 79th minute, Luis Nascimento finishes them off. The storyline for this week, and another reason you can't call me biased, New Mexico United is an anaconda. They are first in average possession, 62.4%. They have and they're also first in accurate passes per match with 440.7. Fourth in goals conceded per match with an even 1, and second in clean sheets with 5. They're also second in yellow cards. With one of the best keepers in the league who didn't play this week, but Alexandros Tembakis, and a group of outfield players that are dedicated to this possession style, makes them a legit contender. They will get the ball, they'll score a couple times, and then they will just squeeze the life out of you. This is a really, really good team. Maybe the pressure of playing in the swap was too much for them, but who knows? But yeah, New Mexico United, really, really good. Definitely a contender in the Western Conference if they continue to be able to play this way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So from there, we're going to go back to Florida. We're going to Tampa Bay for the second match of this game week for Rhode Island. Their second game in 4 days on the road at Tampa Bay. They get another win here, so that makes 6 points in 4 days for Rhode Island. 3-0 win, pretty comprehensive. For looking at the game stats. Again, this is at Al Lang Stadium. Rhode Island had 13 total shots, 7 on target, 58% possession. And then for Tampa Bay, they had 13 total shots, 5 on target, only 42% of the possession. The headline from this one is honestly, it's time to panic in Tampa. I've sort of talked around it all season. I've given them every excuse I can find, but the fact of the matter is with this roster, they shouldn't be this bad, but right now they are the worst team in the league. They're sitting on 4 points. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games. I don't think they've gotten a win since back in March. I think it might have been Miami of all teams. But Arteaga didn't start this game. But he hasn't really gotten going. Passius hasn't been great. Ollie Bassett has been super disappointing for what he was touted when they signed him from the Canadian Premier League. This game, another red card for the right back, Whitey. Um, yeah, that's not good for the Rowdies right now. There is still time to turn it around, but this team's too talented to be this bad.
Yeah, it is. It's looking rough for those guys, but if it makes anyone feel any better, I hate Forrest Lasso, so it's been fun to watch him struggle. So we're gonna head to Phoenix. Phoenix welcomes Monterey Bay to town, beats them 2-0. 45% of the ball for Phoenix, 14 shots, 7 on target, 5 and 0 on target for Monterey Bay. 292 passes for Phoenix, very direct to 382 for Monterey Bay. We got goals in the 66th minute from John Searcy, 89th minute from Ryan Flood. The storyline this week is what's wrong with Monterey Bay Football Club. Last 5, you got a draw 0-0 to Lexington, loss 0-1 to New Mexico, draw 1-1 with Miami, draw 1-1 with Rhode Island, and then this week's loss 0-2 to Phoenix. They got 2 goals in 5 matches for a rough patch. They had 8 in the prior 6. This is a club that we were both fawning over. Guys like Elijah Paul scoring goals in bunches. Really, really fun to watch, and it's been pretty rough sailing the last 5 matches. While still solid defensively with 0.9 goals conceded per match, that's 3rd in the league. This stretch drops them to 1.2 goals scored per match, down in 15th in the league, and it's a 4-way tie for second in a tough West. In a Western Conference that's going to eat itself, you need to get results, and they just aren't doing that in the last 5. So Monterey Bay hopefully can get back on track.
Yeah, certainly another team, and then like this league again. Having watched it now for a couple of years, like there is a ton of parity. So you see teams like go through stretches like this where you're like, oh yeah, they got it figured out, and then like they just disappear for a month. Yeah, Monterey Bay seems like they're going through that again, and that's not a new thing for them either. All right, so the other team to play 2 matches this game week, as I mentioned earlier, Birmingham, again at home, this time hosting Detroit City FC, to a 1-1 tie. Really a late goal from Birmingham grabs them the 1 point out of 2 games. For Detroit City, they had seven total shots. Only 1 on target, which is they had 1 goal, 1 on target, only 48% possession. Birmingham a little more active than they were against Rhode Island 4 days prior with 10 shots, 3 on target, only 1 goal. So the headline from this one is, 3 straight ties feels like a lost opportunity for Detroit. They drop into 5th place in the Eastern Conference. On the surface level, I could tell you that positives being that they have the second fewest losses in the league, right? They only have the 1 loss on the season. However, they've played 10 games and 5 of them now have been draws. And, even with the emergence of Darren Smith, who has been a revelation scoring for them this year, right? Because they historically have struggled to score. They just can't seem to get over the hump on some of these games, and these ties, staying ties is hurting their ability to, be one of the big clubs in a very, very, very good top part of the Eastern Conference. So if they don't start converting those, they could be in trouble. That having been said, 5 games in a row now unbeaten for them. So it could be worse. I'm just trying to, I'd like to see them turn some of these into wins. So we'll see. Time will tell.
All right, we're going to head to the capital of California. I paid attention in 4th grade. Sacramento and they welcome Las Vegas Lights to town and brutalize them 5-0. 56% of the ball for Sacramento, 9 shots, 5 on target. 10 goals, 10 shots, 4 on target for Las Vegas, 409 passes for Sacramento, 321 for Las Vegas. So goals, 30th minute, Juan Herrera. 36th minute, Jack Gurr. 44th minute, Lewis Jameson. 66th minute, El Paso Locomotive legend Nick Ross gets a penalty. And the 86th minute, Trevor Amon gets the goal to finish it off 5-0. So this storyline is going to feature more of a discussion between us than just me waxing poetically. The storyline of this is Raiko Arozarena's nightmare. He's got 4 goals allowed on 3 shots and a pen, 0 saves in this one. He ends up going out, I believe, around the 70th minute in this one. And so the injury looks sort of like I didn't see him getting injured in this. It sort of looks like he just kind of waves and then he just sits down. So what I'm wondering is, have you seen sort of hockey subs in soccer before, where a hockey goalie will give up 6 goals or whatever? They just yank him and say, get your head right kind of thing. Was this Rosarena sort of just saying, this isn't working, I need to get out of here?
If I remember right too, I believe he was on a yellow card, or
Mhm.
he had gotten picked up a yellow card in that game. I think that it's probably to protect him for any number of things, whether he was, nursing, an undisclosed injury, or mentally, like 5 goals was enough, or, get him out of there while he's frustrated and doesn't want to turn that yellow card into a red card. It could have been any number of those things. I think that it's not as common as you would see in hockey, just because you only get, 5 of those subs for the entire game, and usually you don't want to spend them on a goalie unless they're hurt. But I think, in this case, it made sense, just get him out of there, and the game's over. Take your lumps, live to fight another day. It is interesting. He allows 5 goals this game, but he also has 5 shutouts on the season, which is 2 more than any other keeper. So it seems like Las Vegas, like, while he's a good keeper, I think a big part of it has to do with that defense in front of him, and when they get opened up, so does he, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And then second part of the discussion is, so if this injury is long-term and you lose someone who is talented like a Rosarena, how hard is it to adjust to a new keeper coming in? Like, I understand it's not like, oh, we have to go with this new striker who moves differently from our last striker. How difficult is it to adjust to a new keeper as a team?
I think it's as good. You're as good as the defense that's in front of you, right? So as long as you have good communication, and like the center back pairing, and their names escape me right now, but they've been really solid all year. I think that if you, as a goalie, if you can come in and take command of the spaces that you need to take command of, like verbally, and then also get that first save or first couple saves on your belt, where the defense in front of you trusts, that you got their back. I think that that'll go a long way to keeping the confidence that that defense has already built so far this season, and it should help that backup keeper get settled, right? I think that, that's something that's lost on Oliver Rosarena's clean sheets, is he's not even, I don't think, in the top 20 in saves, right? So they're not seeing a ton of shots. You have to be, which is sometimes harder. Sometimes, playing goalie for an entire 90 minutes and only having to face like 1 or maybe 2 shots in a game can be difficult mentally to stay in the game. So that'll be a big part of it, is can you come in? Can you be settled? Can you buy that defense's confidence in you? So we'll see.
All right.
All right. So from there, we're heading to my one Western Conference home game this week. We're heading to Colorado Springs, hosting the Pittsburgh Awful Hounds. The Switchbacks here get a 1-0 win. Colorado Springs wins at home for their first victory since March 29th for Colorado Springs. It leaves the champs, just outside the playoffs in the Western Conference. So, not all is lost. I think they still have a talented team here. In this game, 9 shots on target. I'm sorry, 9 shots, 3 on target, 54% possession. Pittsburgh mustered 7 shots, only 2 on target, 46% possession. The headline for this one, and again, is I've tried to dance around it for Tampa Bay. I've tried to dance around a little bit for Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's broken. 4 losses of the last five. Not counting Jaeger Meister Cup or U.S. Open Cup, which they did lose tonight to the Philadelphia Union badly. I think it was 4-1. Um, they. I think that you need to put out a warrant for Bob Lilly and fire him. They have 0 goals in their last 3 matches, and you're starting one of the top at this point, I think top 7 scorers in USL Championship history in Augie Williams. And I don't know if I haven't watched enough to be able to say like it's on him or it's the tactics that Pittsburgh's trying to employ or what, but they cannot buy a goal. They look just as bad as Tampa Bay. Those two teams for me on form right now are the 2 worst in the Eastern Conference. But good win for the Switchbacks. Uh, Pittsburgh, and maybe we have this conversation next week in our aftermarket segment. But like, and I know that you're a little biased towards Bob himself, but what is it going to take for Pittsburgh to actually move on from somebody who is at least in name recognition, a legend, if you will, in the USL game. So not good, not all is well in Pittsburgh right now.
I do want to say, despite all my joking, Bob Lilly is a USL legend, but I am also required anytime he's mentioned to say Bob Lilly is a compiler. We're going to head to Lexington. Tulsa comes to town and beats them. As I said in my power ranking notes, if Tulsa gets 2+ goals per match, it equals a win every time. They beat Lexington 2-0. Lexington had 65% of the ball, 2 shots, 0 on target. Tulsa had 11 and 4, 400 passes for Lexington to 162 for Tulsa. Tulsa, proper fucking football men. Goals, you got 41st minute. Ryan Calhera continues to stay hot. He gets a penalty. And 90+5, Lamar Batista gets his goal. The storyline for this week is too much too soon for Lexington. Lexington last season was 9th in League One and did the American thing and sort of bought their way into, or not sort of, they did. They bought their way into USL Championship. They are 12th in the West this season, dead last. They have 9 goals in the last 10 matches. This is a team that we were both excited about at the very beginning of the season. They had some really fun players that were doing their thing. Players like Marcus Epps, they've looked strong, but clubs like, Locomotive, when they came to town, I watched this happen live. You can stuff that dude, and it forces him to go deep, and he is taken completely out of the match. They have no one that can sort of assist him and allow him to get up and attack and, create chaos like he wants to. So I'm going to read off some stats, and then I'm going to give you my analysis of these stats. So 0.9 goals per match puts them 20th in the league. Average possession, 55.1%, puts them 3rd in the league. Shots on target per match, 2.9, 21st in the league. Accurate passes per match, 388.5, 3rd in the league. Opponent clubs are seemingly content to just allow them to have the ball, and they just allow them to self-destruct when they get into the attacking area. They are super, super counterattack friendly. The games that they're losing, they're losing to teams like Tulsa, who's saying, yeah, sure, have the ball, and we'll just send it direct against you every single time. That shots on target 2.9, 21st in the league is alarming for the amount of possession and the amount of passes that they're making. Like I said, they're getting into the attacking area and they're just self-destructing. And it's a bummer to see. Some people may think it's gross, them buying their way up or whatever, but we don't have Pro Rel yet, and they were ambitious enough to get there. Good for them in that matter. I like Logan Ketterer, not his politics, but I like Logan Ketterer as a goalkeeper. It's just been very, very disappointing to see this team struggle this way. And I would like to see them, and especially Marcus Epps, get back on track.
Yeah, I feel like some of these clubs have made it. Like Rhode Island, right? Coming in, I know they're a straight expansion club, but coming in and going to the Eastern Conference Finals, we start to get some maybe unrealistic expectations for some of these clubs when they join. It is difficult, and I think Lexington's going to go through some growing pains. But I think too, for a while last year, if I remember, Rhode Island was struggling early in the season as well when they joined. So there's, I think there's good players there, like the guys you mentioned. It'll just be interesting to see what they can, adjust and fix moving forward to hopefully make a run at the playoffs if they can. But I'm glad that they're part of the league at any rate. All right, so the last game of the week, we head to Charleston, hosting San Antonio FC, and Charleston spanks them 4-0. That makes 6 straight wins now for Charleston. They moved to first in the East, first in the league, and they cannot stop scoring. I think I did a piece or a How's Your Touch a couple weeks ago about El Paso arguably being best offense, and to the numbers you even outlined today, they are still up there, but it pales in comparison to what Charleston's doing right now. You lose somebody who sets the single season record in scoring in Nick Markanich, who went to I want to say CD Leganes in Liga 2. But replace him with a player of Cal Jennings ilk, and you don't miss a beat. They are scoring for fun right now. In this game they had, and San Antonio is no slouch, right? San Antonio is a pretty good team, but in this game they had 21 total shots, 10 on target, 55% of the possession. To San Antonio, only 12 shots, 2 on target, 45% possession. So the headline coming out of this game is Charleston are the team to beat, and Louisville may be undefeated, but and they beat Charleston at Charleston the first game of the season, but the Battery is the best team in USL right now, and they're proving it. So they've been really fun to watch. And I know that you mentioned earlier you wanted to say something else about Cal Jennings, but he's scoring for fun, and it was another penalty goal for him this game, but he's getting in those positions and making the most of it, really.
Yeah. I mean, that leads in perfectly to the Canardo Forest Player of the Week. I mean, there was no one else that I could pick other than him. That dude is red hot right now. 2 goals, like you said, 1 penalty, 2 of 2 on shots, 6 touches in the opponent box, 9 matches, 9 goals, 2 assists. Dude is on fire for, as you were saying, the best team in the league. That dude is fucking good, man.
Yeah, it makes that loss to FC Naples in the Jägermeister Cup a few weeks ago, and I know they were rotated, but it's still like it's a puzzler now just based on their form in the championship. Um, but we'll see. For me, the Nate Steinwasser Gold Glove watch stays with Nico Campuzano, and I know that Monterey Bay is struggling a little bit, but he's still far and away leading the league in saves, 13 more than the next closest person, 39 saves. So what they are able to generate, he's still a huge part of that. He does have 3 shutouts, which I know is 2 behind Rosarena. Rosarena would be an OLI because he's still on 5 shutouts, but this week it's hard to put him as the Gold Glove guy considering the performance. But Nico holds on to it for this week moving forward.
All right. So to finish up today, I want to do 2 things. First thing I want to do is I want to shout out our friend who's come on the pod before, Ian, and mainly our really good friend, Mike Steenstra, for their team winning the Europa League today. Spurs, no longer a laughingstock, 17th place into the Champions League. Laws be damned. They had a sort of a boring game today against a team that, ain't that great, but they can still say that they have one more European trophy than Arsenal. So good for them. And then to finish it off, one of the things that I have gotten on my soapbox about since we've started recording together is telling people to go play. So this segment, it's a working title. I would like to introduce. It's called "Hey, We Play Too." So before I
Sorry.
let you brag about the fucking pummeling you're putting on the city of
Oh,
Kalamazoo, I want to talk about myself first.
go for
So
it.
this past Friday, started limping at work, not quite sure what was going on. My toe was really killing me, but I went and played pickup anyways. Played as a center back. And then in the second half, we finally started playing with goalies. So I put the gloves on, got into net, made some really good saves, dove on some balls, and pushed out of some contact because it's pickup soccer and I'm not getting busted up at 35 years old. And then this Monday, my indoor team has been reformed and rebirthed, a phoenix from the ashes, a team of older fellas that look at soccer as a privilege and not something you could just show up to stoned out of your fucking mind, like some of these kids that were playing with us, and goof around. These guys take it seriously, and it's been fun. We're starting to get used to each other. I have moved back into goal, and I had a game. And the goals that I gave up were screen things, screenshots. One I couldn't see until it was literally passing my head. Other shots I blocked, some point blank, super hard shots. The team we played is a team that usually gives us trouble. Their leading scorer, we held him scoreless. So Apache FC doing pretty damn good this season. So now,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen,
well, hold on.
all
Let
right,
me ask some questions. So correct
yeah,
me if I'm wrong for the listeners at home. You're roughly what, like 6'3", 6'4"? Just for
I am 6 foot two.
6'2". Even
Yeah,
so, still
yeah,
for us normal
six
people, a pretty big fella.
6'3" with the afro.
Sure. How are you getting down for low shots? Like stuff like within like 2 feet of like your ankles. Like, can you get down quick, or is it more? Are you more of a foot save guy for
I'm
indoor?
I'm making saves with my feet. The only time I'm dropping to my knees is if I'm rushing anything, or if the ball's like on the ground in front of me, I'm dropping on it. Sort of like
For
a
sure.
goalkeeper flop. But yeah, I got bad knees, so I actually bought some Mizuno knee pads for volleyball, so I'm gonna be rocking those old man style.
There you go. You got to do the necessary things at our age just to keep uh the equipment intact.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, so for me, I'm lucky enough right now to say that I'm playing on 3 different nights. I have a Monday night indoor league that I've been a part of for going on almost 3 years now. It's one where we were tired of people being stoned assholes, as Jake likes to say. Um, so we got a group of guys. We have I want to say close to 70 of us, and we have 6 different teams that we rotate. We rent our own field time, so we ref our own games. It's a strictly no assholes league. It's by invite only, and it's been great. That one's a lot of fun, and that's actually what's gotten me into pretty good shape to play Tuesday nights. I play 11v11 outdoor. I am on the I've also been in the area long enough to know a lot of really good players who were kind enough to invite me to play on their team. So I'm playing with Los Cuervos Negros this year, which I believe is the Black Raven or Black Ravens or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember, something loose like that. And we are understandably pumping everybody. They had a pretty decent core of people already, guys I'd played Hispanic League with for a lot of years, and then we added it is an over 30 league outdoors, and we were able to add like I don't know 8 or 9 guys that are all just turned 30, which is there's a big difference between 30 and 40. So yeah, we are sitting in first place on 12 points after 4 games, 22 goals for and 2 against. I'm proud to say that as lucky as I am to play, I am in the form of my life. I have 2 goals and 4 assists so far this year, playing limited minutes at striker, but it's been fun. And then I on Thursdays I dragged my wife out, who's not a soccer player, but she's enjoyed the experience. We do a co-ed league on Thursdays, and um, sometimes it's just nice to get other people out playing. Like you said, it's important. So if you're listening to the show and you aren't signed up but you like soccer, like even if you aren't very good, there's a plenty of leagues for people of all different experiences. Go out and play. It's such a different perspective playing after like watching. I recommend it for everybody. It is outside of my wife and kids, it is my number one love in life is to play soccer.
Yep.
I look forward to it every time. I always feel better every time. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just to add to that, like I have the crest of a soccer club on my calf tattooed, and I decided not to watch them on Friday so that I myself could go play, because that is going to always be more important to me. Is it just, you understand the game better, and watching the games makes you want to go play more. So yeah, that's oh, and then also that team name that you got. Do you know what that's from?
I don't know. They didn't tell me.
It's a Spanish speaking Netflix show called Club de Cuervos, and it's about a power struggle within a soccer club in Mexico.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. No, honestly, the team or the guy who runs our team is very nice, but the guy who funds our team actually owns the UPSL squad in Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo United just joined UPSL this year, so we do actually have a couple of the UPSL players on our team, which is um probably not fair. But I digress. Go play.
Yep.